What is going on, y'all? This is the Caveman. I'm here with Football with Oz Austin for episode 76 of Against the Blitz. We are doing our reaction to week 12, to this week of football on Sunday night. So we're going to see how we fare with a little bit less preparation than normal. But on the bright side, most of what we're going to talk about is fresh on the mind. So a lot of other podcasts do it like this. And we're gonna challenge ourselves. We're gonna stop being lame and relying on numbers and other things that get released after the fact. This is fresh off of our dome, what you're gonna hear tonight.
Yeah, that makes it more likely that I'm gonna be wrong about a lot of stuff.
Well,
we don't really have to touch on tonight's matchup all that much, because that was the beatdown of the century, featuring Teddy Bridgewater getting a full half football snap. So we're going to skip all that. We're going to try and touch on the games that were more interesting or close or both. And the first one we're going to touch on was the first game of the week. The Buffalo Bills took on the Houston Texans in a Josh Allen assault, I think we can safely call it.
This was harassment. This was like literal people outside of Josh Allen's house throwing rocks at the siding, throwing bricks through the window. This was like a hate crime, what happened to Josh Allen. And the sick part about it all is that his family around him that were staying at his house, they were the ones allowing it to happen, basically. It's like you would think his family would have his back and would try to, help him, but they're the ones influencing everything that's going on and all of the broken stuff he has on his property. Because Jesus, man, this is the epitome of Josh Allen's career, is just feeling like he has to do everything and then just reverting to these old habits of holding on to the ball too long, making very iffy decisions, ones that were like, what the fuck is he looking at? And it was unfortunate because they gave us all the hope ever in the world that they were going to pull off like the nuttiest comeback ever, converting a 4th and 27. I mean, it's not supposed to end sadly when you convert a 4th and 27. It felt like Old Yeller, except Old Yeller looked like he was going to live or something, and then he got shot anyway. So it just was such a depressing game. I have one game a year as a Bills fan that I want them to win so damn bad. I don't know why or when it comes. It just happens, and this was it for me this year, and I was very, very irrationally upset after this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's because I think it would be, you're losing in ways you're not used to losing. Like I can't count on one hand how many times I've felt like the Bills have lost because of their offensive line in like the last 2 seasons. Like that's very much a Bengals thing. Like that's the thing I'm used to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm used to winning because of my weapons and losing because of my line and defense. The Bills are kind of the opposite. So when you lose because of your offensive line, you have Spencer Brown getting just beat up by anybody that goes across from him. You have Deion Dawkins false starting in like the worst possible case he can. Everything that's going wrong is going wrong. Derek Barnett is getting it. Sheldon Rankins looks like he's good again. Everything that's bad that could have happened. And not only was it a loss against a team that's also kind of been struggling, it's a loss in a way that you're not used to at all, which made it suck even worse.
Yeah, I think, of course, the drum will be beaten until Brandon Beane finally hears it. While we're not used to it, it just does feel preventable, and it feels like it has been preventable. The frustrating part with this game, too, was the fact that you spoke to Spencer Brown's struggles in this game, and it was very noticeable that he was dealing with, I think it was a shoulder injury. Like
it looked like his inside shoulder, I think, is what people said.
Something. It was one of the inside or the outside shoulders, and Derek Barnett was having his way on the outside, looking like Will Anderson. It didn't matter who lined up with him over there, and it's not even that he was struggling just to do anything. Joe Brady was also just leaving him on an island like every single rep. It's like, if you're gonna leave him out there, or if he's refusing to come out and he says he's fine, then at least give him some help. But Not only did they leave him out there to rot, die, and suffer, but they didn't even give him chip help, or the guard wasn't coming over to assist. It was just legitimately Spencer Brown against Will Anderson and company, down after down, and he just gets beat to the outside and beat to the inside, and Josh Allen's getting hawked down. It was just malpractice from a coaching perspective, which I think was the biggest frustration from top to bottom. Of course, the whole receiver conversation comes into play here again, because these receivers just cannot get open. The Houston defensive backs had zero respect for these guys. But then it's also the stuff with Spencer Brown. Like, take him out of the game, please. It was very apparent halfway through he should have been taken out. And then why are we running 5 straight times with James Cook into the mouth of a defensive front that you are gaining like 1 yard per carry against at that point, and then turning it over on 4th and 2? That play call was such a big letdown, and was probably the moment the Bills lost the game, is when we finally marched down the field, a resilient, very strong drive, and Joe Brady decides, here is the most brain-dead, uncreative play call ever to kill all the hopes and dreams that they had.
Yeah, it was. Like I was saying before, like it was uncharacteristic, because we're not used to them losing because of offensive line, but they don't even have the weapons that you can throw the ball up to. Like, you don't have Keon Coleman. He didn't turn out to what you wanted. Like, you don't have a guy that can help save you. You had to rely on like a hook and ladder to get you that 4th and how was it 27? You said,
Yes.
Yeah. It had to be like a trick play essentially, because they still really don't have the guys that can just go down and convert that. And it worked. It worked well, and they almost had it, but still, they were not the better team that day. It was Josh Allen trying to save whatever he could. Davis Mills looked good, kind of, somehow. He's kind of been looking good. Not to take away from the Texans offense or anything, but it's hard to talk about them ever when they had freaking 1 million sacks on like the most difficult quarterback to sack.
Yeah, well, I think Davis Mills has kind of put a little bit of clarity around the Houston passing game and the structure of this offense. It's like, yeah, on one hand, he doesn't look great, but on the other, he doesn't look erratic. He doesn't look scared. He doesn't look like he doesn't look uncomfortable. And I think people are wondering, like, what the hell, CJ Stroud? Like, he made this situation look impossible. And I see people on Twitter saying, and this is the guy that, and this is, the offense that CJ Stroud couldn't pass with, the whole 9 yards. But I think this just goes to show, like, the difference between a quarterback that is constantly uncomfortable and one that is green. Like, Davis Mills hasn't had to deal with what CJ Stroud has had to deal with on a week-to-week basis. So he just doesn't know. So he's not going to go in there freaked out already. He just is like, oh, like, whatever happens. Like, he's just kind of unaware almost, whereas CJ Stroud is kind of expecting to be rushed, expecting to be freaked out, but Mills isn't. So I think once Stroud comes back, this team is going to be a problem. And the AFC playoff picture is already pretty muddy. If they are, they're back in it. They are officially back in the running. And with this defense, I think they very easily could upset anybody in the early portion of the postseason.
Yeah, internally, I started to have takes build up in my mind of like, is this the Jacoby Brissett to Kyler? Is this Davis Mills to Stroud? What if Stroud's just not good with pressure? Like, what if that's just a thing?
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't proven he's not. Like, he hasn't proven that he can deal with consistent pressure. We're just kind of waiting for that pressure to stop to know if that's the reason why he's been so bad. But like you said, he's been under duress. Like, he's going into these games expecting to get beat up. He's expecting to look like Josh Allen in that game every day. So that does definitely play a mental toll when you're about to get punched in the mouth versus someone like Matt Stafford in tonight's game that was just untouched, willy-nilly, throwing sidearm, not a care in the world. There's a different confidence to it. So there is a point to that.
Yeah. The last comment I had on this game was the Bills defense was not the problem. They gave up 20 points in the first half, but then 3 in the second. And the entirety of Bills Twitter is just so anti-Sean McDermott and the defense and how it's so bad. The run defense this, the run defense that. But the reality is the defense gives them a chance to win football games, and it's not really their job to bail them out. They've never been that side of the ball for this team as long as Josh Allen's been the quarterback. So it's just so aggravating that when in a game like this, they do ultimately give the team a chance and no one really talks about it. It just is about how the offense struggled. But then the second that, maybe Derrick Henry comes back into town and he has 150 and a touchdown on the first 2 drives, it's like, oh, this defense fucking sucks and Sean McDermott needs to go. It's like, well, what about, week 7, week 9, week 13, where the defense gave them this opportunity, that opportunity? But that's neither here nor there. This organization and this fan base is in shambles, to put it nicely.
Yeah. I mean, I probably would be too. At least for me, I've had the excuses of like injuries and all sorts of like, all my star players have missed serious time. For them, it's just like they're just running out the same team over and over again, hoping for different results, and it's mind blowing.
Yeah.
Because Josh Allen, like the odds of him continuing to play Superman ball and for it to be a better product than the year before, it's pretty hard to imagine that. He's kind of been playing out of his absolute mind. There's going to be some kind of regression at some point from just him being freaking tired and beat up. So to not have anything around him outside of, the occasional monster James Cook game, like when that doesn't happen, then you have nothing. That's bad.
Yeah, I mean, that was basically what happened in this game. Is James Cook he popped that one long runoff early on, and then after that he was kind of a non-factor outside of a couple chunk runs near the end of the game, which helped his totals look better than I thought his impact really was. And I think a lot of the same things can be said about what's going on with the Ravens and Lamar Jackson right now. That is a puzzling situation. They've played the Browns and the Jets back-to-back here, and they just are struggling to win these games handily. We're expecting this Baltimore team to be back at full force, back smacking teams and the offense looking unstoppable. But the bottom line is Lamar Jackson is not healthy, and he can deny it at the podium all he wants, but he's got no burst. Anytime he tries to accelerate, he seems unsure. I feel like maybe it's my mind playing tricks on me, but it feels like I'm watching him literally hobble at times when he's done running at full speed. But it is seriously hindering the way that this offense stretches defenses out because there's no read out. We're not seeing many read options. We're not seeing him scramble as much. And then you resort on Lamar dropbacks to Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, and Zay Flowers, which is better than what Buffalo has for what it's worth. Yeah. But that bar is very low, and it's been a very bad product.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't even Bateman today. It was freaking Tez Walker was out there trying to be a wide receiver too. That's not sustainable. But it's not like we know they're not going to struggle. They beat the Browns, 23-16 in a game that they almost lost. Earlier in the season, they beat the Browns 41-17. It's not like this team that they have currently is incapable of demolishing them. And these are two teams in the Browns and Jets that I will give them. They're scrappy. Their defenses are very scrappy. They are keeping games tight with really solid squads. The Jets especially, they've been doing that a lot, but still, they don't look like the team they were before. Derrick Henry just doesn't look like himself. He's trying to muster every ounce of 3 yards of carry he can get, but he doesn't look the same. The offensive line doesn't look the same. The tight ends don't look the same. Isaiah Likely hasn't really shown at all this season. I know he's also been hurt. He's probably still kind of hurt. Lamar looks hurt. Everybody looks hurt. There is thankfully time for them to come back and not be hurt. But as of right now, yeah, this team does not look that scary.
No, not at all. I mean, they have one slip up or something down the stretch here. And, their playoff hopes could look a little bit muddy too. So they've managed to rip off 5 in a row now. It just is, It just doesn't look pretty. And it feels like they're doing the absolute bare minimum. They're get in and get out alive. That's really what it seems like their goal is. And maybe when push comes to shove, the kitchen sink they have to throw will be a real fastball. But right now it is just like, just hope to God the other team makes a few big mistakes and then they capitalize and just park the bus, because I mean, they didn't convert on third down until like early in the third quarter. Like it was that bad offensively.
Yeah. I mean, part of this also is they've been playing some pretty rough teams. So like they beat the Bears, who are kind of semi-fraudulent, I think it's fair to say. The Dolphins, Vikings, Browns, Jets. That's like those are all 5 you should have won. Wow. And now they get the Burrow Bengals twice. They get the Steelers twice, who they usually struggle with. The Patriots and the Packers. So they don't have any kind of necessary cakewalk left on their schedule. They don't have a Browns. The Bengals were, but now that they get Burrow back, he's prone to putting up 500 yards on the Ravens every other time he plays against them. So they're not looking like they have an easy road ahead of them at all. So Lamar needs to get healthy. That's really it. Like, I don't want to speculate too much on his injury, but you saw it, I saw it, and we didn't even talk about it beforehand. He just doesn't look healthy.
No, he doesn't. And I think even if you're not talking about the few plays where he does start to get on the move, the play calling speaks to it. Like, I think we would be seeing a lot more of their playbook if he was truly comfortable, and we're not. So I think that in itself says enough that he just is not feeling like he can take on that sort of workload where, every single front seven defender is wondering which of the two monsters have the football. That's just not what it is right now. So
no,
it's scary for them.
Yeah, right now they're cool with it because both of them are like sub 3.5 yards to carry.
Yeah.
Lamar had 11 rushing yards. Like when was the last time in a close game Lamar had 11 rushing yards?
No.
He usually gets at least one 11-yard run per game. Mm-hmm. So it feels very wrong that he's getting like 2-yard scrambles like how any quarterback, like he's running like Drake May right now. Like, it's fine, it's effective, but it's like, that's not Lamar.
Mm-hmm. No, it's not. I do think there are other factors, though, really making it a lot more difficult. Like we knew prior to the year that the interior offensive line could be a problem. And here we are in week 12, and it's been a problem. I think it's similar to how Bills fans feel with the receiver conversation. I'm sure Ravens fans feel kind of similar about the guard situation and how that is affecting their entire offense. Like, obviously Derrick Henry's not having a great season, but a lot of that is because he's a between the tackles runner, and they are not getting much push up there. And obviously Lamar is not able to really escape from the pocket much now. And when push comes from up the middle, he's just running to the sideline or getting, pushed out by edge rushers because he can't run. So everything is stemming from injuries, of course, but also the endless conversation that we continue to have with this team. And that's the struggles up front and how many quick pressures and penetration is gained from a very obviously flawed positional group.
Yeah. It's funny for the Bills though, because like it's hard to build a full receiving room from scratch, to go find a wide receiver one, to build it all the way around. They have like a borderline all pro level center, and they have solid tackles, and they have good everything else. And at least the Bills have tried to shuffle around a bunch of different names at receiver and figure it out. The Ravens have just been trotting out Daniel Falele over and over and over again, and they haven't traded for the Amari Cooper of guards. They haven't traded for Zeitler. Like, they haven't done anything at all to try and fix that right guard spot. Because Voorhees has his own issues. He's still subpar. Falele is like legitimately horrific and has zero reason to be on a football field. It's more often than not, like when you look at a pile, a Derrick Henry, stuffed at the line, Falele is nowhere to be found. He's not even in the frame. He might be sitting on the sidelines already. He just does his own thing every play, and there are countless pictures and videos of it. It's so weird.
Yeah, it's frustrating though, and that's kind of the Harbaugh way. Is just he loves his guys, and I don't know what it's gonna take an injury probably to get him out, because there's just no, at this point I don't think he could play much worse. And they should be getting to a point where they're that desperate to try something else, but obviously they're not.
You're just getting Ben Cleveland healthy scratches over and over again. Not even gonna try him out.
Yeah, it's just malpractice from a coaching perspective. Again, from front offices and staffs that, in my opinion, have been around for way too long to be so set in their ways, to not be able to kind of adjust and adapt. You would think these guys would know how to, prepare on the fly a little bit better than what we've seen from both respective organizations. And funny enough, the same can be said about the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And the Colts. It's like we have 3 superstar quarterbacks that are doing their absolute damn best to will their teams to victory. And some are having success and some are not. Today, Patrick Mahomes was able to put on the cape and single-handedly will the Chiefs to not only beat the Colts, but in comeback fashion to literally keep their playoff hopes alive. You fall to 5-6, I think it's over in the AFC landscape right now.
Yeah, and it was a great coaching job, I felt like, because the Chiefs roster, you have Mahomes, but outside of that, like, this doesn't feel like a scary roster. They feel very on par with the Colts. And the only real difference is Jonathan Taylor versus Mahomes. They're just 2 studs going back and forth. Which defense can do a better job of just completely neutralizing the other? And the Chiefs pretty much sold out to stop the run. Everything they could do to stop the run, they did. Leo Chenal is the most terrifying run defender in the league. The entire defensive line and linebacker room is built to stop the run. And they did a really good job at it. Daniel Jones didn't play poorly. Like, I wouldn't say he was bad, but there just wasn't enough elevation when Mahomes really turned it on. They couldn't go pass for pass. Mahomes wins those more often than not. And they did today.
100%. And it felt like the Colts made the Cardinals' sin mistake of just settling for field goals against an Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes-led team. It's like, I think for the Bengals, the Bills, the Ravens, they all know, like, you cannot just settle for 3 points against the Chiefs. They can turn it on, and they will make a play when they have to. Whereas the Colts, Shane Steichen, that coaching staff, they've never really been here before. This is, that was a playoff game-like atmosphere that they certainly were not familiar with. And they had 2 different opportunities on 4th and 4 and shorter where they're settling for field goals, one of which kept it a 1-score game, making it 17-9 on a 4th and 4 at the Chiefs 14. And then they force a punt. They get the ball back, and then they kick another field goal on 4th and goal at Kansas City's 5, which makes it a 20-9 game, which I guess at that point at least makes it 2 possessions, but 20-9 was as far as they got. And that was when the Chiefs started to kind of, rev up a little bit. I think they probably would do something different next time around, but it just kind of is like the unwritten rule for us, true contending teams, to never let your foot off the gas, just to continue with the aggression and to always try to finish off the Chiefs when you can. Because if you let them hang around, then what happened to them today is what will happen probably 9 times out of 10. So maybe they learned, maybe they didn't.
Yeah. I think they did do a good job, though, of showing us that they do belong there. Mm-hmm. Like, this is a team that can contend. The Colts, I mean, they did it without, their star player being the star. The Chiefs loaded the box. They stopped Jonathan Taylor. They made Daniel Jones throw, and I think he did a fine job. I think the product was okay, but it was still an overtime loss. Like, it wasn't like they got blown out. It wasn't like they didn't prove that they didn't belong there with the Chiefs. They were right there, and they should have won. And my main note that I wrote down was it was kind of a weird game for both. Neither team looked overly scary, but I felt like they both did the right stuff.
Yeah, they did. The Colts, I feel like on a number of occasions this year have shown that they could win in multiple ways. Like this week specifically, obviously, Jonathan Taylor wasn't too efficient and Daniel Jones didn't really hit too many big plays, but it was their defense that stepped up to the plate for the most part. I mean, only giving up 23 points to the Chiefs in a game where they were pretty much throwing everything they had at them to win it. I would say that's a win. You come out with a loss, but moral victories at 8-3 are important. And I think this was a big one for them because having kept Kansas City to, how many scoring drives is that? Like 4, if that. They scored 1 touchdown, I believe, right? Everything else was just field goals. Or no, wait. I might be lying. Field goal. Touchdown. Yeah, I think they only scored 1 touchdown.
Wow. I know they kicked a lot of field goals. I watched Butker wind up constantly, but yeah, that's crazy.
Only 1. Yeah, Kareem Hunt, 1 touchdown. Mahomes went 352, 0 for 1. He had a pick. So, yeah, they
that
kept
pick
him
to
out of the
Latu
end zone.
freaking threw a pick to a defensive end, like on his own 10-yard line. Like I thought that was kind of the start of it being the end of the game. And that was at the beginning of the game. Like it just felt like that was going to be like the tone setter, and it kind of was. Like for a while, it felt like the Colts were about to run away with that game. But again, when you have the best running back in the NFL right now, and he's only limited to 3 yards of carry, like they can't run out the clock they can't run out the Chiefs. Settling for field goals isn't going to do it either. Like you either have to be able to turn on that Jonathan Taylor that took over the Falcons game, that can average, the 6 yards per carry, or you got to be a little bit more aggressive with Tyler Warren, Michael Pittman, Alec Pierce, Josh Downs. Like you have the guys to go be aggressive. They just didn't do it. But I get why they didn't. But they should have. Yeah,
they certainly should have. Kansas City was literally doing anything they could to get a carry. Kareem Hunt had 30 carries for 104 yards. That is
that's insane.
Ill-advised stat line.
30 carries for Kareem Hunt in 2025. That's insane.
What are we doing? He had 33 total touches in this game, and they won by 3 points. I feel like the only way that should ever happen is if they're winning by 52 in the first quarter. That's the only universe I feel like that Kareem Hunt should be getting 30 carries.
We've talked about it before, though. Like Kareem Hunt on 3rd and short, 4th and short. It's the most unstoppable play in the league. Like he doesn't get caught in the backfield ever.
Yeah, he always falls forward. It really is. I think it was 2 weeks ago we talked about it, and I don't know if it still holds true or not, but at the time, Kareem Hunt on 3rd and 2 and shorter has a higher conversion rate than the tush push for Philadelphia, which is a ridiculous.
For all you know, and I know, that might have been a lie, but no one will question it because it looks pretty damn true.
Yeah.
I have never seen Kareem Hunt get stuffed in my life. I saw him fumble today, and it shocked me because I've never seen anything bad happen except for the video where he kicked that. I've never seen anything bad happen with Kareem Hunt since the fumble on his first NFL carry.
Well, they did go out and sign Dameon Pierce shortly after the game, so I don't know. Yeah, we'll see if he gets the hate treatment that he got over in Houston, but they definitely need somebody to take the shoulder off of 30 carries for Kareem. That can't.
You're telling me you don't like Clyde Edwards-Helaire? You're not a big fan of those carries? Because I feel like he had a lot of carries.
He had 5.
Yeah. Why is he playing?
Dude, 5 carries for Clyde Edwards-Helaire in 2025. What are we doing? Holy shit.
Dameon Pierce, he's another one where he's not the kind of running back that makes everybody miss. He's not a Kareem Hunt where he's making shit happen in the backfield. He needs a good line and he can take off and score from anywhere. That's kind of his thing. Houston has the worst line ever assembled. That team was not for him. I am not giving up on Dameon Pierce. Not after the amount of 90-yard touchdowns and kick return touchdowns we've seen even in the last 2 seasons.
It just is puzzling that Brett Veach wouldn't part with a 3rd-round pick for Breece Hall. It's like, how much more desperate could they have been to make that sort of trade? And now, similar to Buffalo, I'm going to keep going back to it. They're in a must-win game against the Chiefs where they're down 11 points and they're feeding old man Kareem, Mr. 3 yards in a cloud of dust, 30 touches. Like, that is just an absolute knife in the back. And I'm sure Chiefs fans are like rolling on their couch, like, what the fuck, like bashing their heads up against the wall. And on an unrelated note, I feel like Rashee Rice had the worst 8-catch, 141-yard game ever. Like, it just didn't feel like he was good at all.
It didn't. It just felt like it was just like, it was one of those games where it was like pure volume. Yes. And then like 140-yard catch. Which, I mean, like, I say that, and like I say it in like a negative tone, but like a bunch of volume and a 40-yard catch is actually a great game. And like, it was a great game. But it just wasn't one of those games where like he didn't have any like really crazy grabs. Like, he didn't make any crazy plays. He kind of just found himself in the right spot at the right time over and over and over again, which is a skill. Like, to find yourself in the right spot is a skill. It just, it doesn't blow your socks off. So it just didn't feel like the kind of 145-yard game you write home about.
Mm-hmm. No, it didn't feel like that, like, at all. I think you're right. A lot of the receptions I can recall were kind of Mahomes like scrambling out of the pocket and rolling, and he kind of found Rice like on a crosser or something. I think he had a couple schemed looks like he usually gets, but he really for having 141, 8 and 141, it was not a takeover. Like, he did not take over this game like that might suggest at all.
No, that was all Kareem Hunt.
What a world we live in. Kareem Hunt outproduced Jonathan Taylor today
by like a lot.
Sad world.
He outtouched him too by like 200%.
Yep. Literally a double his touches. Sad world we live in today. Well, I mean, talk about sad world. I don't think we need to spend too much time on this game, but the Browns and Raiders was quite possibly the most disgusting display. Actually, there was another game, that the Falcons and Saints, which we're not even going to bother talking about, was just a repulsive.
Way worse.
So
that was repulsive. Worse. Because Shedeur had that one really cool throw in the beginning that like everyone's talking about.
Yes.
And that throw enough, I think, is way better than like anything that happened in the Falcons game. But like, Jesus Christ. Everything else, like, full kudos. That throw was fantastic. But really everything else outside of that in this game was an eyesore. Because like Judkins had his stuff. There was a really good play by Dylan Sampson on like a 50-something yard screen pass touchdown. But like the Jerry Jeudy fumble was disgusting, where he was just jogging on the 30-yard line, and like it wasn't quite Sammy Watkins level. But it kind of felt like that, where he just didn't know somebody was behind him, and he got the ball poked out. And that's kind of how the whole game felt. Like you had Geno Smith leaving the field and flipping off the fans. it was another day, another Geno Smith hating Raiders fans. Like, is he there next season? Like, is he getting traded?
Yes, I don't know. Like, the thing with Geno at this point is, if he's not in Vegas, then I don't think he's anywhere. Like, he's a backup. I mean, he's somewhere, but he's not starting, I guess. Like, there's no way another team could go into next season willingly taking him in as their starting quarterback as their plan A. Like, the only team that I think I could see doing that is Las Vegas, because that's what they invested in him to be. Yeah. There is not a single ounce of this season from him that would give any team confidence for that to be the case. I mean, he's just, we talked about it last week. He's not just playing bad football, but he's kind of just crying poor me the entire way through. So he's just not playing good quarterback, and he's not being a good leader either. Like, he just kind of speaks to the dysfunction that the Raiders are right now. He's like what's the phrase where one thing kind of like represents it all? There's like a phrase for that.
I'm not sure, but I do know what you're saying.
Yeah.
He's like the God. There is a word. Mm-hmm. There is a phrase, like the poster child, I guess, of that. But like, it's just Yeah, it's hard to even blame him anymore. Like seeing like Tyler Lockett is like his clear wide receiver one, and he didn't throw a pick today. Actually, he gave that to Shedeur instead, who threw a pick to the 260-pound Charles Snowden. Isn't Charles Snowden also? No, that was Edward Snowden. I was thinking of the guy that like was like an FBI whistleblower and had to go into hiding. No, that was Edward Snowden.
Yeah, it was Edward. How did you even? How did that even cross your mind right now? That's great.
Because Snowden's not like a popular name, I don't think.
Yeah, that's fair.
They look very different, but yeah, that's like those two plays, the big throw and that interception, kind of encapsulate everything that is Shedeur right now, the good and the ugly. Where I think he did a better job today of getting the ball out quickly, but then you also see some stuff where he gets the ball out fast and he doesn't see the field. Like pre-snap, post-snap, he had no idea Snowden was dropping into coverage and threw a meatball directly into his chest. Had no idea he was coming. And then on the opposite end, this like the over scrambling, the over rolling out, it's annoying. But there are throws that he can make that are just unbelievable. His accuracy is probably some of the better in the league. It's just everything in between that is very much a work in progress. But if he can just keep the confidence up through all of this, I do think there's a really good outcome on the end of it.
Yeah, I agree. One of the biggest reasons why I thought Shedeur for the Browns made sense was just for the sheer fact that even if he sucked, or at least we came to find out that he was terrible, that at least like there's some hope he's providing, some excitement, some good PR for Cleveland. And that's what this was. Like he makes that throw, and this clip of Myles Garrett with his jaw on the floor is circling Twitter like on my timeline 17 times. It just is that kind of hype that it brings to a team that desperately needs something. Dillon Gabriel, while he might keep you in a very low scoring and uneventful game, which you still end up losing, is just not exciting. Like no one cares to watch it. Everyone knows that's not the long-term plan. But at least with Shedeur, it's like no one has a damn clue what the future looks like for him. No one has a damn clue how he would do as a long-term option. No one knows nothing. So I think for me, if I was a Browns fan and even as, just an NFL fan watching Cleveland, I would rather go with the unknown just because it's more fun and more exciting. And at the end of the day, that's what football is supposed to be about. So if Cleveland wants to sell tickets, like he is obviously the starter from here on out if Stefanski's not truly hating him.
I would have to imagine so. That would be incredible, wouldn't it? They just go back to Gabriel.
Oh.
I'm not sure the team would let him even do that. Like,
dude.
Like I think there's multiple different angles where like I think a lot of people have gotten this game wrong. Where like I don't think Shedeur played well. Like I think that he still was very much a well below average quarterback in this game. But the things that he showed were really interesting. And he showed that he can do things that Gabriel just cannot. I think Gabriel is better at executing like the actual offense that is designed for him, which is definitely why the coaches preferred him, because he's not scrambling all the time. He's not taking bad sacks. He doesn't turn the ball over a ton. And these are things I think Shedeur will struggle with. Turnovers, which we've seen already, 2 bad ones already. The sacks, we've seen some bad sacks. But just the elevation from him is so much higher. Like that one throw I think was really enough. Because we haven't seen Dillon Gabriel make that throw in like 8 weeks that he's been like the starter for them. I think it's pretty comfortable to say I would rather have just like you said, the excitement. Even if there's more bad, even if there's more me yelling at my TV for sacks and turnovers, there's more times where I'm also cheering. And I think that's what I would want.
Absolutely. I think if Kevin Stefanski doesn't want to be painted as a racist, he better start Shedeur Sanders next week. Like he already is being accused of he was already being accused of sabotaging Shedeur. If they walk out there with Dillon Gabriel next week, Josina, whatever the fuck her name is going to write a blog and push it as far down the Cleveland media's throat she could. And it's going to get bad. And I think bad to the point where Stefanski could truly be worried about job security if he does make that decision, because I think there will be so much pressure externally from these nutcases that Shedeur has defending him on the Cleveland front office to be like, you got to make a change. You got to make a change. And if they do or don't, I don't know, but it won't be fun for anybody if he makes the wrong decision here. So
no,
he can decline to comment on the starter next week all he wants, but if he's in the best interest of his job, it has to be Shedeur.
Yeah. And all that just to bring back Deshaun Watson next year. He's your starter.
There was a Deshaun Watson mention on the broadcast today. I think it was like, and there's Shedeur, getting some wisdom from Deshaun Watson on the sideline, who's just returning to on-field activities or whatever the fuck. I'm like, Deshaun Watson. Wow, did not know I would hear that name today from a announcer.
Yeah. That's the mentor I want for my guy. Like, Jesus Christ, like, that's so bad.
What a joke.
That organization, dude. And all that, and like, what's even sicker is that like Myles Garrett also had 3 sacks. He has like 18 and a half sacks or whatever. And
we haven't mentioned it. We have not mentioned it.
No. Because this is his worst game in like 4 weeks, which is insane. The guy gets 3 sacks, and we're like, yeah, but last week was way better, and so was the week before. So like, who cares? Because he's having like probably like the best defensive season since 2014 JJ Watt.
Mm-hmm.
And JJ Watt had the best defensive season before that, and even longer than that. So good Lord, dude, like Myles Garrett is on track to be beyond Hall of Fame level, top 10, top 5 arguments for sure.
Yeah, he is comfortably ascended into the best defensive player in history conversation.
Like,
easily.
talk to me like Julius Peppers or Myles Garrett. Like, people like realistically, like, are we gonna have freaking Jack Youngblood over Myles Garrett? Like, these rankings are so stupid. Myles Garrett, I would take over almost every edge rusher in history outside of probably LT and like
Bruce Smith.
Maybe Bruce Smith. I don't know. Maybe. Like,
I don't know. It's so
Reggie
close.
White.
Yeah.
I'd take Reggie White. And then that might be about it.
Yeah. It's LT, it's Prime Watt, Aaron Donald, and Bruce Smith for me. I don't even know if I'd put. I think Reggie's fantastic, but I don't know if I'd put Reggie up there. But, well, he's up there, but not over Garrett.
Yeah,
put it that way. Well,
good Lord. Yeah, that's crazy that he's just rotting. Like, imagine if this guy was on the Eagles this year.
Yeah,
that almost happened. I feel like he almost was on. He was almost a Buffalo Bill. He was almost an Eagle. He was almost a lot of teams, but he opted to stay with the Browns, which got him some money. Great for him, but Jesus, man, this could have been bad. Bad for the league.
Yeah, it was probably better he got stuck there, because it wouldn't have been fair for him to end up anywhere else. We see what Micah Parsons is doing for the Packers defense. If Garrett would have ended up anywhere else, it would have been unfair. Like, I think there would have had to be some like NBA commissioner, blocking trade activity having to happen, because
I was listening to Collinsworth talk about it, and he actually had a good point where he was like, he's doing all this and they're losing games. The opponents aren't passing that much. Like, the opposing teams usually, like, when you're losing, the opposing team runs the ball at you for a majority of the game. He's doing all this in like a fraction of the passing snaps that other edge rushers are doing this in, because other quarterbacks aren't in a huge hurry to be throwing the ball on him. And in the only games that he has, he's racked up like 3+ sacks in like all of them.
Dude, poor Stone Forsythe was left on an island against him.
Yeah, what are they doing on an island? And then he kept false starting because he was terrified.
Dude, there was like 2:37 left in the entire game, and Pete Carroll and company's like, fuck this. It was Stone, you got it, buddy. And he literally was alone. No chip help, no nothing. And he gets smoked, and poor Gino gets killed. And then Chip Kelly gets fired 3 hours later.
I was about to say,
that was probably why.
Yeah. Yeah, they probably pulled up the film and were like, the one fucking player, and you put Stone Forsythe on an island. You're not having Michael Mayer stay in to, double him. You're not having the running back play on his side. You're just like, Godspeed, brother. And then let him go.
Dude,
Myles Garrett is Stone Forsythe's fucking size. And then he's way faster. Like, that's not going to work out, man. That's crazy.
God.
Chip Kelly is just gone. But super, super deserved.
Yeah, it's one of many dominoes that should start to fall.
You should buy some Jack Besh stock today because he was a reverse racist towards him.
Hopefully, because dear God, there has to be something redeemable about that draft class. That TikTok did great. Maybe we should talk about it again.
Yeah. But no, you actually are not allowed to predict busts early. Tonka Hemingway will be great. The coaches and everybody don't know how to apply them correctly.
Yeah, it's like
we've talked about that on so many times where everybody thinks that all of their players are great when their players aren't playing. Everybody thinks that their young players on their bench are so good, and it's the coach's fault that we haven't seen it. Like those young players couldn't beat out your shitty starters. You think it's going to be better?
Well, we know that the one guy, well, I guess excluding Genty, the one guy that they've continuously rolled out there was Dante Thornton, and he sucked. So if he's the best of the class that they've been willing to put out there, then I don't want to see the rest.
I don't. He was a 4th round pick, and he was the only guy they were like really in on after like the whole preseason. So I'm good. We're good.
We're good, Jacoby. We got Dante Thornton.
Yeah.
Holy shit! What a fucking mess. Speaking of the whole Myles Garrett versus XYZ historical figure, an interesting question was posed by one of my friends in a group chat, and he asked, would you take Eli Manning or Justin Herbert to start a franchise with?
Herbert.
Yes.
Not even close.
That's right.
Eli, when you talk about Eli, you talk about moments in games. When you talk about Herbert, it's like seasons and ability and things that he can do that no one else can do. With Eli, you're like, he won those 2 games. Mm-hmm. Great, man. He scored 17 points and 21 points in his wins. Like, good. He has a couple great, crazy throws in those games. But, like, he also had a monster defense and is the beneficiary of arguably two of the greatest catches of all time, actually. Like, he was definitely a quarterback that was very, very well supported by his supporting cast. And he also had a lot of seasons where he threw 20 plus interceptions and was very much a mediocre, borderline bottom of the barrel quarterback.
Yeah, I was confused as to why this question was asked, but I said Herbert instantly. And I was wondering if other people thought differently, because who in their right mind would even entertain that? But I don't think there's probably a lot of people out there that would say Eli Manning. So it's going to be fun to find out.
The NFL is just so different today versus then. Like, back then, being a quarterback was just make the right throws at the right time, orchestrate the offense. Nowadays, like, it's about making shit happen. Like, you are so much more responsible than ever before. I want the guy that can make ungodly throws, that's an athlete, that can put up good production throughout a full season. And, like, he did have a bad 4-interception playoff game, but he also had a freaking playoff game where he lost scoring over 30 points. Like, I'm not going to flame him that hard for that.
Yeah, I agree. The way you articulated Eli Manning's career is perfect. He had moments, and it's funny that we look at a guy in Eli who won a couple big games and, played well in those games. And that's kind of what his career is encapsulated by, you can kind of say the same kind of thing about Jalen Hurts right now. Like,
yeah,
it's kind of like the only difference is Jalen Hurts probably ends up with like a better career win-loss. Not that that's indicative of much, but generally speaking, that is kind of Jalen Hurts right now. His legacy is built on 2 Super Bowl performances, one of which they lost, but he showed up, and that's really what everyone thinks of when they think of Jalen Hurts in a positive light. Otherwise, it's like if those 2 games don't happen, if let's say they lose to the Rams in the snow last year, and then they don't even make it to the championship game because of Brock Purdy's elbow or whatever happened, what would be Jalen Hurts' legacy right now?
Yeah, like it's very much just for Hurts. It's always been moments and playing well when the lights are bright.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that's overrated. I think he's played very well when the Super Bowl lights are bright. I think as a general playoff performer, like you said in that Rams game, I think in the Packers game, I think that he had some pretty poor playoff performances where he is a Saquon 80-yard game away from losing. Instead, Saquon is putting up 200-yard rushing games and winning them the game, and the quarterback gets the credit. I think that's a little nutty. The Super Bowl, very impressive. Like, I have no notes for that. He was a very good Super Bowl performer, but to get there, he was very much carried and made a couple good throws, couple good moments, like we said, down the stretch. But I don't think, and same in really this season, I don't think that the full catalog of elite quarterback is there at all.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. It just was funny, like as you started to talk about Eli, I was like, this sounds like somebody that currently plays.
Yeah.
Very much so. Well, going back on Shedeur for a second, when you were also talking about Sanders and how pre-snap, post-snap, it just doesn't seem like much is going on and he can just make the most egregious play ever. We're in year 5 of Trevor Lawrence, and that motherfucker looks pretty close to Shedeur Sanders as far as I'm fucking concerned. I'm so done with Trevor Lawrence. Fuck.
Well, Shedeur had freaking one of them, and he's a rookie in his first full start. His first week of first team reps, by the way.
Yes.
But yes. Trevor Lawrence has been getting first team reps since he was a baby. Like there is absolutely no reason he should suck this bad. Like he is also capable of making, and he did today, 3 touchdowns, all of them good. He makes some of the best touchdowns, some of the best throws you could possibly think of. And then just when it's starting to look really good and you start to be like, yeah, there's something here. He's stupid. He's just so like, God, how often have we seen a quarterback regress like this, like mentally? Yeah. He's regressed so bad.
I just watching Trevor throw that one pick that Davis Gaithers baited him on, like the most basic, like fake drop to the flat, then sink back over the middle, like the most like predictable, yeah, literally like the most predictable linebacker play of all time. I was sitting there like, coaching sounds like so appealing for so many reasons. It's probably one of the most rewarding things ever. Unless you're like Liam Cohen trying to coach Trevor Lawrence, because that would have me drinking so much at night. I would be an alcoholic if I was the coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
You would drink so much Blue Light.
Yes. I would have the biggest beer gut. I would come in with bags under my eyes. I would be a concern for those around me because
you'd probably be looking like Chip Kelly.
Yes, I'd probably
having to coach Gino.
Like legitimately though, it's just is that frustrating of a product, and it's not even that he's just bad. It's like you said, there's just so much promise at times, and then other times you're like, what the fuck? Like there's nothing to make of it. You cannot make sense of Trevor Lawrence, and at this point, we're in year 5. We're done trying to make sense of it. We're over the experiment. It's just done. Like he's mid. He's not getting out of mid, and we're sick of it.
When's his contract up?
Man, I don't know. Ask
Shad
Khan.
I was thinking about a trade, but I was like, he costs $50 million. Like, I don't even know who wants to trade for that.
Let's see. Trent Baalke, bro.
I hate Trent Baalke.
He signed. There's a potential, according to Spot Track, the potential out is in 2029.
Good Lord.
So, yeah, he's currently on. It's like Trevor Lawrence had a 5-year, blah blah blah. Wait. Okay, he signed a 5-year, $275 million contract with the Jaguars in 2024. So, yeah, there's a long way to go. That was was that pre-2024 season? I figure that's what that meant. What that means?
I think so.
Because it wasn't that recent where it was after 2024.
No. God, that's terrifying. Terrifying for them.
Yes. Like, holy shit.
I don't even know how tradable that is. And at this point, I just don't know how long you can keep doing this.
It's just it's Kyler all over again, except at least the Cardinals aren't like, I don't know. I feel like I don't know exactly the contract comparisons off the top of my head, but they're at least trending in a direction where it makes sense for them to potentially find the way out. It's like with Trevor, like you can't. Like, not only do you owe him so much money, but he's healthy and he's probably the best thing you're going to get because he's never going to play bad enough for you to end up with a draft pick that's high enough. And who else out there are you going to replace him with that becomes available? Like Aaron Rodgers? Like, what do you do?
Dude, his stat line is pissing me off to look at right now. Every single game he's thrown for 3 touchdowns in 2 different games, and he's thrown 2 or more picks in both of those games. Like he can't even put together any stretches of good. He has 1 game this entire season where he's thrown multiple touchdowns without a pick.
Oh my
1.
God.
Every single game where he throws multiple touchdowns, he throws a pick. His usual stat line is something along the lines of 174, a touchdown and a pick.
Bryce Young.
This is Bryce Young, but without the random Falcons games.
Yes, literally.
He doesn't have anything. Like he actually played well against the Seahawks, weirdly enough. Trevor did. And that's about it. Like he has not, like his touchdowns to interceptions ratios, like his second year in 2022 was by far the best. 25 touchdowns to 8 picks. Since then, 21 touchdowns to 14 picks, 11 touchdowns to 7 picks, 14 touchdowns to 11 picks this season. He's just there's not even enough touchdowns to justify the picks. It's just turnovers on turnovers. And he's still confident for some reason.
It's just, I think it's finally coming to light, but Trevor kind of fell in that Geno Smith bucket, at least this past offseason and a couple before, where the film guys were trying to defend off the numbers people against, the slander, where it's like I'm seeing Trevor Lawrence discourse and, the few clips of him threading needles. And then people are like, yeah, well, what about his 12 interceptions that he throws over the stretch of 5 games? And it's becoming a losing battle for the film guys is basically what I'm saying. And we saw that kind of go down with Geno Smith this year. And I think as the season progresses for Trevor Lawrence, it's kind of going down the same path of like, it just is no longer defensible for what's going on.
Yeah.
It's what a joke. I'm just so, like I said, if I was Liam Cohen, I would be a heavy drinker. Very heavy.
Fair. He might be.
And I don't blame him.
I don't at all.
The only other comment I had on this game was I'm done listening to the fantasy community on Twitter. I don't know if you pay attention to that side of Twitter at all, but
not really.
There is a grossly large pool of creators and Twitter accounts that make fantasy content, all of which is brain rot, all of which is very similar. There are some good apples, but almost every single one of them were gassing up Byshell Tootin this week. They were like, wheels up on Byshell Tootin. Here he comes. Look at the workload from week 11. Byshell Tootin out-snapped, out-carried Travis Etienne. He is going to be the lead back. Some people had him in their top 7 running backs for the week. It was completely irrational, the amount of hype Byshell Tootin was getting. And my dumbass has it fed to me on my feed. So I start him in leagues where I need help. And of course, it was a complete bust. He did absolutely nothing. And anybody with a brain that was looking outside of these fantasy nerds' perspectives would have realized that he was never in line for the workload that they were projecting. Travis Etienne has been fine the whole time. He's been producing as a top 15 fantasy back for the last 3 weeks. But for some reason, Bishal Tutin was going to just go off this week, and it was completely ignored. And I'm sick of fantasy Twitter is by far the most uneducated, rage baiting, engagement baiting group of fucking social media content creators, and I'm sick of them. It's the JCM shit all over again. The Bill Krosky merit shit. This is the second version of that this season, and I can't believe I fell for it. I'm upset with myself because I fell for it. I think that's why this one is bothering me, because my dumb ass got tricked into it.
Yeah, I mean, I think they just don't act like you can have a random good game here and there. As a rookie running back, if you have one game where your usage gets picked up a little bit, automatically you are a must start of the week. You are to put all of your fab money down. Like you said, you saw it with Bill Krosky Merritt, where he had a good game to start off the year and everybody just dumped everything into Bill Krosky Merritt. When even the snap shares have just never been there to support him, and they've only gotten worse. And I did see a lot of this the fantasy Twitter in the preseason. I do remember that, and it was bad, really ugly.
Yeah,
Dynasty Twitter is the worst.
Yes, that entire side of it is just such a cesspool of engagement bait, and I'm so sick of it. It needs to be abolished. There are 3 good apples, like I said, that I can think of.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I got called an actual loser by one of them because I said Tyler Warren would be worth a first round pick in Dynasty. They're like, you fucking idiot. There's no way. He was a senior. He was a late blooming senior. There's no way he's going to be good. I was like, all right, well.
All right, buddy. Okay. Sure.
All right. Yeah. Well, offensive rookie of the year possible now. So idiot.
Nothing's funnier than seeing a film breakdown thread from a Twitter account that has fantasy in the name somewhere. It's all right, buddy.
Yes.
Automatically invalidated. Always wrong.
They're like, RJ Harvey, man. I swear to God, RJ Harvey's up next. It's not even as a starter, man. He's not even doing well as a starter.
No. Apparently the Broncos were in on Dameon Pierce pretty hard, and they didn't.
That would be perfect.
Yeah. Well, that just goes to show how things are going for RJ Harvey. So. I just had to get that off my chest. Fuck that side of Twitter is my point here.
Fair. That's actually fair.
Well, Dallas Philly. Let's talk about that. That was a fun one. That was a fun game.
It wasn't at first, though. God, Jesus. It was really boring. And then it got really good. Because Dallas had no business being in this game. And then as Philly was taking care of it, Saquon fumbled, and then there was not a muff punt. There was a fumble on a punt from Jahan Dotson, and Dallas still almost threw the game away with 3 consecutive pass plays from the 1-yard line and turned the ball over on downs. But they kept getting lucky. They made a couple plays. They sacked Jalen Hurts for the first time in forever when the game mattered most, and they came up with a win. And it was really awesome for them, and it showed how pretty freaking beatable Philly is when you can shut down Saquon.
100%. This was definitely another alarming game from Philadelphia. It just is how much more of a feastable secondary can you have in front of you to kind of just go to town on, and they just were unable to do so. I was thinking maybe this would even be a Dallas Goedert game where, the secondary does a good job keeping the guys at bay, but this is where Dallas Goedert feasts underneath. And it wasn't even that. Another, AJ Brown and Devontae Smith they had 14 for 200 combined, but it didn't feel like it. They didn't take over the game. These were just numbers. And when it was needed in the second half, the offense was completely and utterly empty. Jalen threw 27 for 39 for 289 and a touchdown, and they lost. It was just an empty game from a team that they couldn't move the ball in the second half. I honestly can't even tell you why. I think they just stopped the run, and then suddenly they just couldn't throw.
I think it's just play calling, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like their run game was awful. It's been kind of really iffy all year. And that's not good because their run game carried them through the playoffs last season. The elements are bad. It's harder to throw. It's always harder to pass in the playoffs. It's about who can run the football.
Mhm.
And if they can't run the football, I'm worried about them, like very badly.
Yeah, wow. I'm looking at it now, even in the first half, including the Eagles had just one drive in this game that was more than 7 plays.
Wow.
Their first touchdown drive went for 7 plays because of a turnover on downs from Dallas, which gave the ball up to 50. Then they drove down and scored. The following drive, they did drive full field for 7. But then after that, they had another drive, just 6 plays. After that, they went 3 and out again. They picked up 1 first down here for 6 total plays, 3 and out, 7 play, like literally just no momentum gained, even in the early part of the game. Now that I look at it, they just were taking advantage of good field position. So, wow. Yeah, just a devastating performance. It's a very eerily similar feeling to 2022, was it, when they just looked atrocious toward the end of the year, and then they go into the wild card and the Bucs just blow the doors off of them in the first round, and or maybe that was the divisional, but nonetheless, just it was coming. Like everyone knew that was going to happen, and it was just sad. It was a sad way to go out.
It was. And I think Jalen Hurts is a lot better now than he was then. I think he has still improved as a passer for sure. And I think he looks much better this season than last season as a passer. But still, like the lack of AJ Brown, they're a really weird issue that they're having. It's not a good time for that. Like it's not a good time to have AJ Brown freaking out and having a media circus going on when the playoffs are coming up a lot faster than they'd probably like. Because while they're a good team still, like they've beaten some really good teams, they've generally been a really good football team this year. They're not nearly as dominant as last season. And even last season, they struggled their way through the playoffs a couple times. Mm-hmm. So they're going to need to be a lot more dialed in than they've been.
Yeah, they are. I mean, their defense they've been kind of like the Packers' evil cousin in a way. Just their offense just struggling to score points in games that it feels like they should have in hand, and then the other team just wiggles their way back in, and it's just about whether or not their defense could win it and make one more play toward the end to seal it. This game, that was not the case, and Dak Prescott looked phenomenal again outside of the first half, obviously. But
yeah, that was bad. But yeah, he looked great.
George Pickens, top 10 receiver comfortably at this point.
I feel good about that. Yeah. He has been, I mean, I think you can say the quarterback upgrade did it, but I think he also just genuinely looks better. Like it's not crazy to say that like a 24-year-old receiver develops his route running. Like that's a very normal thing to happen. But on top of that, having the quarterback upgrade and the offensive coaching upgrades, like he is pretty clearly the better receiver in Dallas as of right now. Like I'm not going to necessarily rank him higher than CD because I know what CD can do, and his peak is a 1,700-yard receiver. But right now, Pickens is playing like a top 5 receiver, and he probably is a top 10 receiver overall.
Let's do some would you rathers.
Okay,
we'll start.
Is this for right now, or is this like on my board?
We'll say going into next year.
Okay.
So interpret that how you'd like. So going into next year, would you rather have George Pickens or CeeDee Lamb?
I mean, right now I'm taking Pickens.
Yeah, I think that's fair. How about George Pickens or Brian Thomas?
Pickens.
Yeah,
easily. Yes. And thank you for saying Brian. We're not calling him BTJ anymore.
Yeah, no, he lost the rights to be called BTJ.
Lost the nickname.
George Pickens or a lot of these names are George Pickens or Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Give me Amon-Ra St. Brown.
No,
give me him.
Lying to yourself. Stop.
Give me him.
Stop lying.
No. they're just such different roles. But if I need like an X receiver, I'm taking Pickens.
If you just need an overall like dominant win anywhere receiver, I'm taking Pickens too.
Yeah.
That's not whatever. Forget it. How about George Pickens or Devontae Adams?
Because of age, Pickens.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
fair.
like obviously prime Adams, I'm taking him over Pickens for sure. But yeah, I'm taking Pickens now. He's on track for like 1,400 yards.
George Pickens or AJ Brown?
I'm taking Pickens. AJ Brown, I don't even know what to think of him right now at all.
Yeah, he's kind of in that weird like Tyreek Hill bucket, like
yes,
from a couple of years ago. It's like, is he regressing or what's really going on? And no one really knows.
Like mental, kind of. It's also on the offense. Like they don't even target him that much.
Yes.
But, like, why aren't they targeting him that much at the same time? Like I don't love that.
He's legitimately having the 2024 Tyreek Hill season. It feels like no one knows what the problem is or why he's not getting targeted.
Yeah, but if I'm picking my receiver going into next year, I don't want that. I want Pickens that is producing like the second best receiver in the league.
George Pickens or T. Higgins?
Pickens, for sure.
All right, I'll make it more difficult. George Pickens or Nico Collins?
That's a lot closer.
Yeah.
I would damn. Like they're almost the same thing to me right now. And I think Nico's been disadvantaged by quarterback play because of offensive line play.
Yeah.
I mean, I might go Nico still. I think that's where I'll draw it. I think I'll take Nico because we've seen him do this kind of shit before.
Yeah.
But right now it's just not happening.
All right, last one. George Pickens or Drake London?
That's about as close. I mean, fuck. I personally will probably go Drake London.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we've also seen him do this kind of stuff before. And we've seen him on these kind of nasty stretches with significantly worse quarterback play. And I think he's still better at the catch point than Pickens is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You would say that still?
I mean, we've seen some
close.
crazy catches from Drake London this season.
Yeah.
And these aren't placed with like that really good, Dak Prescott touch. These are fucking fireballs by Penix that are just being gripped by London in the end zone. Like, he's a really good receiver that is just being shit on by Penix and Kirk Cousins. But I do believe, like, if we put Drake London on the Cowboys right now, he would have a similar stat line.
Holy fuck! Holy shit! That's a scary thought. That's a really scary thought.
That's kind of how I think of it. Like having Nico Collins in Dallas, I think he'd be doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Like I think they've been looking for this, but when I look at like T. Higgins, I think it would be great. I think it wouldn't be the same. Amon-Ra St. Brown, I don't even know because they're just like a completely different position. But for sure, I think Nico Collins and Drake London are like the two that are comparable positions, and I think I might lean over. But
yeah,
these are guys that I was rating both of them top 10 going into the season. So this is really high praise for Pickens.
Oh yeah, I was one to believe that those that were putting him. I mean, people were crazy enough to put him near this conversation before he got to Dallas, and I'm like,
well, I don't think that's true. I think it happened, but yes. I think he got better. Like, I think you could say he might be a top 10 player. He wasn't then.
No.
But like he developed and got better and turned into that.
Oh, he's hurt, but I think I know what you'll say. George Pickens or Malik Neighbors, now last one.
Malik Neighbors.
Yeah, okay.
Malik Neighbors is closer to like, I think he's closer to touching that top tier of receivers than he is to like that number 10.
Yeah, I agree. Well, we'll wrap up with the last two games. We'll get the Seahawks Titans out of the way real quick. This was the JSN takeover game again. Like
part
going
40.
Yeah, part 40. Literally. Like dominance from start to finish. He is Sam Darnold's favorite target. And they don't pass that much. They're like, I saw this stat earlier where JSN is on pace for 2,000 yards in 2025. And the Seahawks are ranked like 30th or 31st in total pass attempts on the year. Like that is how ridiculously efficient he is. Every single time he gets the football, it is explosive. Like short, if it's a short throw, per air yard or if it's a bomb downfield, he's winning at the catch point. He's getting yards after catch. He can win any rep on any level of the field. This is the epitome of what good receivers look like in this day and age. This is the new archetype that teams should be looking for, is what JSN is. Like, I think he's back. I would take him over Amon-Ra St. Brown 10 out of 10 times right now.
I think we could even do a would you rather with JSN, because I think that he is one of the hardest guys to rank because the sample size is so small. It's one season, but God, it's really good. So would you rather JSN or going into next season, Nico Collins?
JSN. I'm going JSN.
Fair. I would too. JSN or let's go CeeDee Lamb.
I'm going JSN. Like, I don't know if there are many guys I'm putting above him right now. Like, it's going to be tough.
JSN or Justin Jefferson.
All right, well, I'm going to go Jefferson still, but I think the one kink in Jefferson's armor that we're finally seeing is that he's not quarterback proof. Like, that was the one thing we've constantly heard about Jefferson and why he's number one, undoubtedly per his believers, was he is quarterback proof. No matter who he's had throwing the ball, he produces. And while that was primarily true, we finally gotten to a point where that's not the case anymore. It doesn't have to be his fault. It's not his problem. It's not his fault, but it is his problem. So when we look at how these other receivers are performing, this will be one of those seasons that brings him back down to earth. And, you know, if we come out of this year and we're like, yeah, well, it was McCarthy's fault, and they go into next year and whoever the quarterback is, whatever the case is, if it's not Justin Jefferson level football, then, you know, I think that conversation can open itself back up. I, for one, still think Jamar Chase is the best receiver in football. I think Jefferson is too. But outside of those, like, those two guys are the cream of the crop. And then there's like that second tier to me, which now consists of like the Puka Nacua, the JSN. Who else? I guess. Who?
Would you rather have JSN or Puka?
Ooh, yeah. They're basically like the same thing to me. Like, you could expect the same type of wins from both of these guys. And I think maybe I lean Puka simply because he, as you would probably attest to, is a lot scrappier, I think, when it comes to, you know, I think he helps your team, generally speaking, more than JSN does, just because he's a lot more willing of a blocker, I think is what it will come down to.
Sure.
But it doesn't mean JSN isn't willing. I mean, he's playing with
he
multiple tight ends. Like, he's not good at blocking, but Nacua is just like that type of player too. So it's like looking in a mirror. You get the Spider-Man meme out for those two at this point for me.
Yeah. I mean, Cam Ward's got some weapons though, man. He's got Shamir DK, Gunnar Helm. God, dude. Embarrassment of riches.
They almost,
people are like I get he has not been a good quarterback this season, but like, who would be? Like, it is like he was their leading rusher by far today because Tony Pollard had 11 carries for 20, and then his let's listen to these top 5 receivers: Gunnar Helm, Shamir DK. Third place was James Prochet, with 4th place Chiga Conquo, 5th place Xavier Restrepo. Like, why does James Prochet have 3 catches for 42 in an NFL game? Shamir DK at 44 yards and a touchdown. Gunnar Helm, 6 catches for 51. Like, this is, and they almost beat one of the best defenses in the NFL. This is a defense that has just been putting it on really good quarterbacks. Like, Stafford struggled with them. Like, I mean, they held the Commanders, they held Texans, they held the Jaguars all to under 20 points. And the Titans, who have pretty much by far the worst offense in the NFL this season, put up 24 points on them, and it felt like more.
I mean, they made it slightly interesting at the end. They scored that late touchdown, and
they did.
I had the Seahawks in Survivor, and I hadn't checked the score of the game for the better part of the last 2 hours of the game. And I look, and I'm like, what? why is the difference only 6 points? Like, there was only 40 seconds up to that point, so I wasn't freaking out, but I'm like, that just is not settling. Like, can I just get this over with, please? Unfortunately, the Seahawks did, but it's a humiliation ritual, unfortunately. It feels like they're just doing everything they can to, I guess, keep the hype low. I don't know. It just is funny because preseason we're all like, why is no one excited about Cam Ward? Like, this is the least talked about number 1 overall pick ever. And the more and more we get into the season, the more and more we see why. Like, there was nothing to be excited about. Even, I mean, to Cam Ward's credit, he's made a few throws that have circled the internet, but I think this has kind of been, at least what we've talked about, the point. Like, Cam Ward probably was never quite 101 material in a lot of drafts, but when you also combine that with the fact that he's going into a dastardly environment, what is there to be excited about? And I think like we were talking about weeks and weeks ago, that's why. And we're seeing, competitive football to some extent from him, but there's just no way he comes out. Like, I don't know how he comes out alive. Like, if he comes out of this as a successful quarterback, I will be shocked, honestly.
I will be too. And it's not, I'm not even blaming him.
No.
It's like they set him up to fail. I listed off his top receivers. That's disgusting.
Yep.
The fact that they scored 24 points against such a good defense is more fluky than anything. He had some crazy throws. He had a great game overall, but like, that's not sustainable for him to be playing hero ball that much. I'm worried about him. And like, if they have a great offseason, if they draft a receiver early and get another one in the offseason, I'll feel better about it. Maybe if they find something that's not Dan Moore blocking for his blind side, but yeah, it is not feeling up. Not for him. He feels like one of those quarterbacks that's going to have one of these like Sam Darnold resurgences where like he'll leave that like dastardly program that drafted him and he goes somewhere like worth a damn and become something.
Hopefully, but I will give him credit. If there's one guy that mentally can handle this, it's Cam Ward. Like, I think
Agreed.
that's one thing that he's proven to us, even, back at Miami. He just is very mentally stable, and there aren't many highs, there aren't many lows. Like, he can throw a bad pick, but then the next drive he won't care. He can have pressure in his face, but he'll deliver a throw. Like, he's very unfazed by a lot of the mental part of football and playing quarterback. So that will be what carries him through this if he is able to make it out. But right now, it's just, we've seen this song and dance before, and it has not played out great for a lot of guys, unfortunately.
It's true.
Well, his kind of counterpart, another former first overall pick in Caleb Williams, the final game we'll touch on, he is just continuously playing good football. He is kind of, in that same bucket of Trevor Lawrence in a way, where it's like, why the hell did you just do that after you made like one of the craziest throws I've ever seen? But it's a lot less. It's a lot more in structure, and we're actually on an upswing with him, unlike Trevor. So I take my comment back. But
you've seen like severe improvement, not only from like year 1 to year 2, but from week 1 to now.
Yes,
like you are seeing a pretty active development of Caleb on a week-to-week basis, and even on a play-by-play, drive-by-drive basis. Like, he started off the game pretty weak. They went down early. He had that super stupid play where he was sacked by TJ Watt. And he just threw the ball at the floor. Like, it was bad. Like, there was no reason for him to run back into the end zone and put himself in safety trouble. It was a dumb play. And he came back from that. He bounced back, and he just started ripping the seam, which is weirdly something that he does best. Like, for a quarterback whose whole thing was like not being good in structure and not being able to get the ball out quick, he can just rip the seam ball over and over and over again, and might be one of the best in the league at it. It's really cool. And they've kind of figured that out. They found DJ Moore a couple times, in that kind of area. They found Colston Loveland in that kind of area. It was a really, really good game. And going down early, he was resilient. The Steelers made a lot of mistakes towards the end, and they pounced on all of them.
Yeah, they did. This offense is really starting to get Ben Johnson-fied, and not just like from Caleb's perspective, but the amount of guys that are involved in, getting the football. Like DJ Moore finally kind of came back around. Rome Odunze had 3 catches for 50. Colston Loveland had 4 for 49. And then you get Luther Burden, whose route participation has been increasing week after week, and he's been getting some trick plays. And there are a few plays where he was the lone receiver in 13 personnel sets. It's like I'm sitting here like, where the fuck is Rome? Because I have him, but it's Luther Burden. He's starting to gain the trust of Caleb, of Ben Johnson, and he's getting those kinds of reps. And then of course there's like the Durham Smythes and Olamide Zaccheaus and Cole Kmet touches here and there. But point being, the ball is getting spread out to so many different guys, and that's kind of what we were seeing in Detroit when he was with the Lions. There were just so many different guys that he found a way to get the football. And that, I think, is really what is uplifting the Bears. Like we knew how good of a coach Ben Johnson could be. I think I can speak for myself in saying that I was skeptical of whether or not he could live up to the expectations, because they were so damn high to the point where I'm sitting here like, how could anyone possibly meet these expectations? But he is, like, and not just from a Caleb Williams development perspective, but from how he's getting all the other guys involved and how the team is performing. I mean, for fuck's sake, they're 8-3. It sure as hell don't feel like it, but they are at the top of the NFC North. So how much more can you ask for?
Not a lot. I mean, they're another team that I think has had an underratedly easy schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And they have performed worriedly in some of their better opponents, but those were early. Like they got boat raced by the Lions 52-21.
Yeah.
And like that's worrisome, but that was so long ago. And then they lost to the Ravens that had Tyler Huntley as their starting quarterback. But that was still some time ago. And now the last couple weeks, they put up 47 on the Bengals, they beat the Giants, they beat the Vikings, they beat the Steelers. And it's worrisome that they're getting into close games with these underwhelming teams. But it's good that they're coming out on top on all of them, because that is a coaching thing.
Yes, it definitely is. So there's a lot to be excited about if you're a Bears fan. For the Steelers, not so much. Mason Rudolph with the 2-minute drill was something that I needed an eye shower after, because like needing like 7 yards on 3rd and 4th down, and you throw 2 consecutive like 2-yard slants.
Yeah.
And that's how you lose when you need 3 points, mind you, at midfield. But there's just a lot of stuff. I've put a lot of investment in the Bears recently, like from a take perspective. So I'm enjoying reaping the benefits of Caleb, and even Rome. Like I think Rome is an excellent receiver. He's had an up and down year. He started off looking like a bona fide like superstar.
Dude, I tried to trade for him in every league.
Yeah, like holy shit.
But yeah, his dad's not happy about it.
No, he's not. And then he went off, and then now he's kind of silent again. So maybe we need his dad to get mad again.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's every game we were planning to touch on. Was there any other comments, games, thoughts?
Not even just the game. I think just briefly touching on the fact that Jahmyr Gibbs did the most disgusting. Like the game was fun. Jameis was awesome, but Jahmyr Gibbs rushing for 219 on 15 attempts with 3 total touchdowns. That's just the speed of that human being is terrifying. Like I feel like if he was born, sometime earlier, he would be CJ2K.
Yeah. That's a good comparison. I mean, he really is like a flash of lightning.
That was my pro comp as a player, so I'm kind of biased with that, but he just feels that way. Like that just terrifying speed. He's just breaking crazy angles. Like angles where like the safety should have him by 15 yards. And he's just dusting him.
He does that thing that Bijan he does like that quick swim cut kind of thing where he's just able to slide past the defender in close proximity so cleanly. But he does it at the speed of a bullet, which makes it so much more insane to me how he's able to just like change direction and flip the field so easily. And then, like you said, get any angle he basically wants. It is definitely like top of the league type stuff. Like talk about comparing running backs. I think you can very easily make a case that Gibbs is the best in football right now. He is single-handedly keeping the Lions offense afloat. Like Amon-Ra was productive, but honestly more a net negative at times in this game than a positive. And they leaned on Gibbs and he basically bailed them out. Long story short. And it's not often you see a running back do that, but when you do, that's when you know that, he's one of the rare ones. So, I think Saquon, I think Henry, I think those guys, production-wise and even just on-field play-wise, not been in the conversation. So I think that's where, Bijan was already kind of up there, but Gibbs is entering the conversation now, and Jonathan Taylor's back up there. So we're seeing a changing of the guard officially, and unfortunately I was on the worst half of the Jahmyr Gibbs 60 bomb in fantasy in 2 games. Unfortunately,
I was on the good end, so I am happy about it. But yeah, ridiculous.
Fuck.
Like, because I wasn't really even paying attention that he also had 11 catches.
Yes,
I saw the fact that he had like multiple 65-yard runs, couple of them for touchdowns. I didn't see the fact that he also had 11 catches on top of that, just to kind of rub it in.
He did. I think. It's crazy to say that I still don't think his runs were the most exciting part of that game, though. But that's what happens when Jameis Winston is the quarterback of one of the 2 teams participating, because he had probably the best quarterback reception in history. I think that was the most Jameis Winston moment ever. I was praying he would break that tackle, and when he did, I was like running circles in my kitchen. I was like, "What the fuck did I just watch?" But every time Jameis Winston steps on the field, I wonder why the team didn't ask him to do it earlier. Like, what were the Giants even doing?
He's so much fun. Like, this is the most life I have felt from a quarterback in some time. Even like the flea flicker was so awesome. Like, it looked shit. Like everything went happen. Like the defense sniffed it out pretty quickly. They were all over Winston, and he made a man miss. Collected himself, launched a seed, and somehow Wan'Dale Robinson is like a legitimate top 20 receiver in the league. Somehow, I don't understand, but it's only because he played against me in fantasy. So he put up 30 points on me, I think twice this season.
Wow.
I think both of Wan'Dale's games were up against me. It's so I hate him.
That's hilarious. Yeah, Wan'Dale, like at times Wan'Dale does move like one of those upper echelon receivers, like the way he runs his routes and the way
he's so quick.
He is like, he does move like it. He's kind of got that DNA in him a little bit. He's kind of like the Aldi's version of one to some extent. Aldi's is great. So I don't know if I can even say that.
Yeah. I mean, not a lot of variety to it.
No.
Kind of like that. Like he's a short little gadget guy. Like he kind of has his thing that he does well, but he's cheap and it works great.
Yeah, it sure does. Well, that will wrap up our week 12 reactions. If you guys have any comments, thoughts, leave them down in the comment section below. You can join our Discord linked in the description as well. And we will see you in episode 77.